I'm just going to be reading from a section in the Bible that really inspires me, and I'm going to be reading it now on this platform because I want to, and I find it's a very inspiring portion of the Bible, and with the synopsis of this portion, I hope that it also provokes your understanding in knowing God this way yourself as well. So in Deuteronomy chapter 8 from verse 11, I'm going to read to about verse 17, and it starts saying, "Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments, and his judgments, and his statutes, which I command thee this day, lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, and thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents, and scorpions, and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, My power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. Hallelujah. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. So, the striking part for me about this portion of Scripture is the way it starts this section. It says, beware. I mean, if I just do a quick search now in how many places the King James Bible uses beware, I'm sure it's not up to a dozen. I'm just doing a search here. Okay, it's a few more, but it's where it starts. It starts the verse with beware, so it kind of makes it like, oh, wow. So I'm just counting how many. I counted 26 verses. Oh yeah, it says 26. So there's 26, so about a couple dozen. 2 dozen plus 2. There's a few more, but I mean, it's striking. It says, beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in keeping his commandments and judgments, which I command thee this day. It says this day, beware, which I command thee this day. So it's not ambiguous. He's just letting them know and realize that, hey, look, be careful, because I want you to know that it wasn't your ability that got you where you are. It says, and thou say in thine heart, My power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. Saying, beware, lest thou say in thine heart, My power and the might of mine hand hath gotten this wealth. We need to know in our personal lives that we don't need to rely on our strength. Because it says here, beware lest you say, my power and my might has gotten me this way. We don't need to rely on our strength. And we surely shouldn't fall into this trap of saying, my power and my might have gotten me this way. If we just humble ourselves and live thankfully, we will never, unless we don't meditate on the scripture, find ourselves in this situation where we're saying, my power and my might have gotten me this way. So we need to know these scriptures. Deuteronomy 8:11-17. Meditate on them. And then if we just live with a thankful heart, we'll bear the fruit of this understanding and living before God. And always, and just knowing in everything that we have, and when our life becomes so beautiful, it says, and has built goodly houses and dwelt therein. He knows you're going to prosper. He says it right here, but he's just saying, beware that you don't say, the power and the might of my hand hath gotten me this way. Hallelujah.